Good evening. I'm not sure where to start in this video other than it's cold outside. I just got home from the gym and also from the grocery store, and while I was there I was talking to my mother. That's not really important to tell anyone, but now I'm just sitting in my vehicle before I go inside, and I just wanted to say that I don't know where to start in this video, so I'll just say it. In 1995, I dropped out of high school. I do not recommend anyone dropping out of high school. Back then, it seems like it was pretty serious. Today, I'm really not sure if it's as serious as it was back then. But the key thing is that I didn't let it become serious. And again, I don't recommend anyone to be dropping out of high school. My situation was that I was a senior attending high school, and I also was living on my own, and I was living with roommates, and I was working at the same time, and I had to make do, and I didn't have my priorities straight. I wanted a lot of things in life that my parents either they couldn't give me or they wouldn't give me, and if they said no, I had to work for it. That's what I did. Like I said, I didn't have my priorities straight. I already flunked, I believe the first grade, and so I was held back. So I was already a year ahead anyway. So I believe I was already 18 years old. I had dreams of joining the military and going to college. I really had my heart set on that. Those dreams were not destroyed, but they were put on hold. But when did I get my GED? Actually, I got my GED about 2 days after I dropped out of high school. By the way, the test for the GED is somewhat difficult. You would have to pay attention in school, gone as far as you could, and then for some reason you had to get your GED. For some reason. My reasoning was that I was working, I had to make a living, I had to eat, and my parents would not let me move back in. That was my mistake. I in no way blame my parents. I have a very good relationship with them today. Today, I am 41 years old. I actually turned 42 in April, but today, I do appreciate every lesson that they ever taught me, and some of those lessons were hard learned. So anyway, I remember the day that I left the education center, and I saw a guy that I went to high school with, and he actually dropped out of high school too. And so he told me that he's taken the GED test like 6 times. Like, wow, is that hard? And so I don't remember if it was the day that I took the practice or the day I actually took the test. So unless you know what you're doing, if you are totally confident that you'll pass that GED test and you'll be able to write the essay because there was a handwritten essay portion, then high school might be a better option just to stay in because it would be easier. Because once you drop out, I don't think that you can drop back in. Anyways, maybe that's a possibility. So, about college and about going to the military. Well, I wanted to go into the regular army, the active army, full time, but I couldn't because now I have a GED. That's just a rule they had. And they had these windows of opportunity where I could join, but those are rare and I didn't feel like waiting around. So I joined the National Guard. I used the education benefits to earn 15 college credit hours. which was at the time was a requirement to do so I could join the regular army. And I went to basic training in 1996. I joined the Arkansas National Guard, and in December of 98, that's when I started my transition to join the regular army. And by January, I was in the regular army. I was stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. I kind of have to think back because it was actually 98. Yeah, that was that was 20 years ago. So unless I always talk about it, which I don't, I may have to think back a little bit. Something that I've always been told was that people with GEDs are not that smart because they have a GED, and because they're also lazy. Because if they weren't lazy, they would have stayed in high school, and and by getting your high school diploma, by attending public school, or by attending some other type of schooling program such as private or homeschooling. It just probably not. I don't include homeschooling in that, but and if you did do homeschool, that's cool. I'm not here to talk about that because I don't know anything about that. Was that if you didn't have your high school diploma and you had a GED, that you were lazy and that you were dumb. And that's totally not smart, because I've met some folks that have a high school diploma and their reading and their comprehension skills were like way down here, and my skills were just way up here. And maybe because that for a large part of my early life, and I didn't grow up with cable. I didn't have video games. I had to read. I read books. That was something that I enjoyed doing. So maybe that was just something. I also took speech therapy in grade school, and my speech therapist made me read out loud, and that probably helped me a lot, because by reading all the time, my reading skills got really good. So, what about college though? Well, let's just fast forward a little bit, okay? Today, I have a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from a accredited college. It wasn't one of those college diploma mills online that you pay like $250. I got it from Upper Iowa University. I attended classes at a branch school, I guess. I guess it's like a satellite school, and that was at Fort Riley, Kansas. I earned my degree. Let's see, I graduated in, I believe it was 2005, and I earned my master's degree, my master's of science in the same field of criminal justice from the University of Management and Tech, when half of it I earned when I was deployed to Afghanistan, and the other half is when I came back. I also want to let everyone know that just because someone has these, they have these pieces of paper on the wall framed, these pieces of paper that are called diplomas from a school, a fancy school, a well-known school, or just any school. It doesn't mean that they're smart. It doesn't mean that they're intelligent. To me, intelligence, being smart to me, what that means is how well that someone takes information, how well that they absorb information, how well they learn it, and then they regurgitate it outward for others to understand. To me, that is being smart. In my opinion, that is. And that's something that I've learned over the years, my experience, that you cannot judge someone by what they wear, kind of hat they wear, type of shoes they wear. Because my parents didn't buy me the good clothes growing up. I didn't have the best shoes. My mom bought me cheapest stuff she could find at Walmart, on clearance, whatever. That's just how she rocked that boat. And I'm kind of glad she did, because it made me the person who I am today. And today, I'm almost through with my hours in real estate education, so I can take the state and national exam for Texas. Next year, I am set to retire in October from the U.S. Army, and I'm not totally sure if I want to sell real estate, but you might be wondering, well, then why am I getting a real estate license? Well, first of all, I can do property management, because you can't get listings and put listings out or some sort of real estate stuff. You can't do any of that unless you have a real estate license. Unless you own the properties, unless you buy the properties yourself, and that's how you do it. But that's just not how it works in Texas. And so I would really like to move back to Arkansas. I would like to move my wife and myself back to Arkansas, so I'd have to get the Arkansas license there if I want to do anything with real estate. The Army has a transitioning program for soldiers that rejoin the civilian population, and they have a whole list of classes that I can take. I was actually thinking about getting my CDL. I was thinking about being a truck driver. That's something that I can do part-time. It's not something that I want to do for a living, but I could certainly do it part-time. But I could also have a fallback. You don't want to be an unskilled worker now. No one should want to be an unskilled worker in the future. Trust me, it's always better to have a skill, something that you can fall back on. I actually want to go back to college. I actually want to do something else with my life. I want to go to law school, and Arkansas is probably the place that I would do that. So, thank you for listening to this video. I hope everyone enjoys their Saturday night. God bless America.